It's Bitch Sesh. I'm Danielle Schneider. Guys, Casey Wilson is not here. I know people will be disappointed, and I know it's come to me, believe you guys. I know when you at me and say, ugh, I'm not listening if Casey's not there. I get those tweets, guys, and I thank you for them. I take them in, and I have to say to you, I don't know what to tell you. Casey is baby in hand, toddler in the other hand, and we're giving her, she's just going to be a few more weeks until she's feeling ready to get back in the swing of things. But guys, do I have a guest for you that all of you love? We get tweets about this person all the time, and she fills us in on so much good stuff. She is sort of a historian of housewives in that she talks about them in a way that is so smart. She makes me feel like I'm not doing bad by watching The Housewives. She makes me feel like I'm doing a cultural study. And I really appreciate that because the way she explains it, I feel like is a way of looking into people's psyche. It's a psychological experiment, I think. Oh, one more thing. Let me say, Casey will be back. Let me tell you when she will be back for our huge Halloween episode. That is when Casey will be back. And I should tell you, it's going to be a live show, and we are going to do our Largo Halloween episode. So get your tickets. We're going to do we want everyone who comes to the show. The show is going to be Wednesday, October 25th at Largo in Los Angeles. And we were going to have a special guest, and everyone dressed in your best costumes. Casey and I have some really good idea for our costumes this year. So give us your best Housewives, Southern Charm, whatever Bravo you got. Give it to us. We want good. You guys were delivered last year. And even if you can't come to the live Largo show, will you send us some pictures? Because we'll put those up on our Facebook page and in our Instagrams. So I really want to see what you guys got, because Casey and I are coming to win and to play. We got some good costumes. So without further ado, please welcome to Bitch Sesh, one of our favorites, Miss Jessica Chaffin.
I'm already so excited and overcome.
We have been off
here
for 3 weeks, so you're really getting us at a time.
I can't believe you only took 3 weeks off.
Yeah, we only took 3 weeks off.
It's an interesting dilemma, isn't it? Because Casey, there's a lot of talk about women and maternity leave and equality and these sorts of things.
Yes.
And I can feel that you feel that she's already taken too much time off.
What?
I'm just kidding. But it is tricky. You're like, you don't have an hour? It's like...
It is. It's a lot. I remember
I'm totally
maternity to come back and be like...
Oh, I think I'd never come back.
I remember
I'd never, ever
like,
come back.
You do feel like you're in a cave. And I remember one time going out into the light of day, 2 months after, and I was like, ugh, I was Gollum. You can't, day is night, night is day. I remember also one time going out at night, post-pregnancy, and being like, people are out and about. Yeah. It felt so strange.
I called the bunker that time when the baby's really small and people are just like, everything is just about meeting needs. Yes. The baby's yours, whoever, and it's like you're in the bunker.
I called it the baby cave, and people would come in and I would be like, welcome. It was so...
It's a little dark in here.
Yeah, people would be like, what's that
in the afternoon?
smell? And I'm like, that's me.
Will you be adjusting your baby to daylight anytime soon?
Why do? But anyway... So much has happened in the Real
already
Housewives world.
am thinking about inviting myself to your Halloween show.
Please do.
I don't know whether I'm going to come dressed as a hot dog or whether I'm going to come dressed as Two-Face. But I'm going to come dressed as Leanne's dog as the hot dog, not as Leanne as the hot dog.
That's an amazing costume. Anyway, these are the type of ideas we're talking about that are creative, have the finger on the pulse.
And I'm hoping because you want to get in with me societally that you're gonna I'm gonna come in the worst costume, and then you're gonna award me the head of then I'm gonna get the top prize.
Yes.
Yeah. A la Cameron and
Cameron.
And what's Stephanie? Is that her name? The blonde?
Yes, Stephanie. I understand why you don't remember her name because she's
utterly forgettable.
I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I've seen her face more than I've seen basically my own daughters lately, and yet I couldn't pick her out of a lineup.
You can tell that that's her lot in life. That she's like, we met. Every time you meet her, she's like, we met.
Constantly having to be like, Stephanie. Yeah. You're like,
I do have to thank you though, because you've been off for 3 weeks, but I have literally not been watching any Housewives for probably 6 months.
Now, why have you taken this sabbatical?
I don't know. I think I fell behind, and then I kept saying to people who I trust, like, should I be watching? Should I be watching? And they were like, well, you could skip this or you could skip that. And then I just kind of, once you fall out of the rotation, it's a Sisyphusian task to catch up.
Correct.
So that's why,
this is what I'm talking about, you guys. Sisyphusian.
I'm a Housewives academic. What can I say? But so I said to you, I would love to do it, but tell me which ones do I have to watch? And you gave me such a gift.
I did.
You did.
And tell everybody what that gift is.
You said you need to watch Dallas, you need to watch OC, and you need to watch the Atlanta trailer.
Yes.
And I have to say, at first, I started to feel a little sick when I was watching, and then I couldn't stop. And I got 20,000 steps today just watching my. And people at the gym were like, "You can walk." I'm certain a person can walk faster than that. And I'm like, I'm just going to be here for 4 hours.
Were you literally there for 4 hours?
Oh, I was there for 4 hours watching. I was like, if I have to catch up watching these, I may as well just be walking while I'm doing it. So,
I always say our podcast and the Housewives are some things that you should be doing while doing something else.
Yes.
Whilst we're not worth it to just
how
waste
weird
your time on us.
How weird would it be to just stand in a room and listen to a podcast? Like just stand or just lay down and listen to a podcast.
I need to be cooking. Like I've been listening to a lot of like Hillary Clinton podcasts lately. Like, she's been like sort of making the rounds with her book. Yeah. And so I've been listening, anything she's been on, I've been sort of listening to, but we won't get into politics today.
Please.
But I do want to get into sort of a politics. And that is that in the last week, we have found out that 3 Kardashians are pregnant.
Yeah. I knew Kim was pregnant.
You knew Kim was.
Or I knew Kim had a surrogate.
I had heard rumblings.
You've heard the rumors, though, that Kylie is Kim's surrogate.
What?
I don't think that's accurate.
What?
But that's one of the rumors that is circulating. Yeah.
I can't believe that.
That's one of the rumors. I don't believe that to be true. I think even Chris wouldn't stoop that low.
I can't imagine that
On the other
would
hand,
happen.
she allowed her 20-year-old daughter to get pregnant instead of reading a book or whatever the options were.
But it has to mean something when 3 women,
think it means
3 Kardashians get pregnant at the same time. Like,
oh, you mean like the Christ child is coming, like the Messiah, the coming of the Messiah?
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the 3 Kardashians of the apocalypse. Like, what does it mean? It can't just be.
It does mean that their ratings were plummeting, which was something that people had been talking about for a while.
So you think that this was some sort of Kris Jenner? I mean, she's a genius.
I think all of Kim's pregnancies are scheduled. So that is not surprising to me. Like, I think Kim is a highly regulated person and she wants 3 kids and that's what she wants. And she also, God bless her, lost so much weight after this last baby. No one could blame her for not wanting to go back there again to like have to do that.
But I also think her body can't. Like, she has some sort of problem with her womb, I believe, with her uterus. That's pretty dangerous.
They said that after the first one too, though.
So you don't think that it's a health scare? Like,
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that, I mean, look, I won't fault anyone that chooses to not want to like, if you don't want to carry a baby, that's up to you.
But I share her gynecologist. We have the same. Well, I'm in her same office. I have the one that takes a medical plan. She is the one who doesn't.
I'll need a name off the air.
I'll have like the commercial. I have like the commercial actor's doctor, and then she's got
hilarious.
Or like the staff writer.
It's her
doctor.
And Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, and then every once in a while, like someone comes in the back door, and you're like, oh, someone's here for the other doctor, and then the rest of us regs are in there with like our insurance cards.
Sure. SAG after. Finally, at last. The Writers Guild always does have the best.
Do you take my WGA?
You're like, no, WGA is primary.
Yeah.
Like, it's a much better plan.
PPO. So again, but then there's a backdoor for like other clients.
I'm not saying that those aren't real problems that she has. I'm just saying that she decides when she wants to have a baby and that the surrogate, whoever that person may be, this is all part of a plan. She's a very planning, organized person.
But what about Chloe?
Chloe's boyfriend had a baby with his ex-girlfriend right when they started dating. So I don't feel super great about that situation. But I think that Chloe has been looking for love for a while.
I do too. And I wish her love.
I do too. She's doing a lot of talking about how great and how yummy he is online and a lot of
I
a lot of
to
not
her.
remembering that these people like overlapped and had a baby at the same. You know, like I love that idea that it's like totally fine. I just meant that like that's a common thing that happens is that you just fell in love with someone who's having a baby with their ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
like that
hear
happens
you.
all the time. You know.
Well, how
I'm not
old
saying
is
it's
this
not
baby? How old is
possible.
the baby?
Now, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something like that. I don't know.
didn't realize.
Maybe,
Again,
maybe we can look that up.
I don't keep up.
Tristan Thompson.
He's a b-ball player.
Yeah, and he plays for the Cavs. And maybe we can find out when his ex
Look,
gave birth.
it's not perfect.
Life.
But
you make
Chloe-
you make plans and God laughs.
God laughs and
I
then
think also
gets you another season.
I do also think that these women are an incredible example of that you don't really need a man. Like they need a man like Scott and Courtney. That's so heartbreaking on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's like all these girls care about is like throwing baby parties and having showers and being moms. They're very family focused.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Rob to an extent, the weird Black China baby thing,
Mm-hmm.
like. These people are all about being together as a family, and all these husbands feel extra.
Yeah, and
like,
they are.
Kanye is definitely like a recurring character in Kim's life.
You know what? I'm fine with that, though.
Yeah.
I'm and also
They have their own money.
in these housewives show.
I worry about Kylie though.
Really, you think?
I think that she's I don't just mean like she's really young, because in a lot of ways, yes, she has this great business and she's been exposed to a lot through that business and everything. And it's impressive that she's such a good businesswoman. I mostly think it's odd when you think about like anyone who wants to get plastic surgery, great. If you want to make that's going to make you how you want to go through this world and make you happier and into a different person, and all Kim Zolciak's like body dysmorphia and whatever.
Well, all of that. Like I was
good
thinking
for
about
you.
that today as I was watching, or the other day when I was watching OC, and just how in every episode recently we have seen another woman go under the knife in the Real Housewives.
And also how they're like, oh, I get sick from anesthesia too. Where you're like, everybody's had this experience, this elective experience.
Yeah, and everybody is in and out of a hospital constantly. They've all had more than one boob job. Like the fact that we are tearing apart our bodies.
Well, and it's really brutal. Like like you're talking about like a nose job, they break your nose. You know what I mean?
You're out of the hospital in one day, like in less than a day. I was sort of like, all of a sudden I started to be like, what are we doing to ourselves? I mean, again, I'm watching it, I'm riveted, I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
But it did start to feel a little sci-fi to me.
And I think Kylie is all of that in a tiny, like in a compressed amount of time.
Yeah.
So think about, not that she was a cute teenager, but she was not like a sexualized goddess.
When your sister is naturally a supermodel, your closest one in age to you, Kendall.
Oh, right. When you said naturally, I was like, I can't imagine who she's talking about.
Kendall.
Yes.
Kendall hasn't had anything
Kendall
done, right?
had her lips injected. Yeah,
She did.
She did.
God,
Yeah, but not
I'm so
till,
behind. Again,
like 6 months ago.
I do not keep up with the Kardashians, but I do. As I always tell Casey, like. I know the players, not the game.
Yeah. I don't watch the show, actually.
You don't?
No.
You seem quite in tune.
No, I'm
It's
just kind of picking it up here and there. But my how old?
April
born in
7th.
June.
June?
Tristan's baby born in June.
Okay, look.
And I think they've been dating since May or something like that.
None of this is easy, guys. None of this
But my little mini
right.
thing about Kylie is just like, imagine you're an awkward teen. Like we all have.
As I was.
And as we all still are in a way. Like there's like, oh, if I could just change this, if I could change that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Imagine that feeling that we all kind of carry inside of ourselves. Then imagine going
my grandmother's
through...
dying wish was basically that my sisters and I all get nose jobs. Like basically,
that is old school.
Like, and then she died before
That is old school.
It was like my time, so like I sort of escaped.
You were like, I'm 12.
Yeah, but
and
like
she was like, you're gonna have to deal with it.
It was something that she desired for all of us, and was put forth.
That is
for
so
all
funny.
of us.
I was at a synagogue outside of Chicago the other day, and I met a woman who had one of those old-fashioned nose jobs that you just can't get anymore. And I was like, wow, what a nose.
I remember one time on the podcast, you called it like the landline of facelifts or something.
Oh, that was, whose facelift was I talking about at that time?
Like Rinna or something.
No, Rinna's lips, yes.
Rinna's lips.
Yeah, that they were like Errol's dial-up modem. Like she got them done way too soon. Like there were so many advancements since then.
Such a perfect way to say it. I was like, yes, it is. But we should move on from the Kardashians.
Anyway, I think Kylie is emotionally damaged by completely changing her entire identity in such a short amount of time. Yeah. And whenever I see her on anything, I just think she seems like she's very lonely and that she's very young. And so it doesn't surprise me that she might like skip her entire
and also want
20s
a baby
and become a mother.
When I used to watch like Teen Mom and all those shows, it's one of those things where like, I don't feel loved. Here is someone that has to love me. And so have a baby.
Also, they're so dumb. It's like, I don't even know if she gets it.
But they're also so
like
rich.
That she gets that there's like a baby at the end of this that will need something.
But at the end, they're so, again, enough
like
Kardashians, but they're so rich.
Okay. We've done too. I apologize.
Okay, now also a gift today. It's almost as if the Bravo gods knew that we were coming back today because we find out that Kelly from OC and her angry husband, what's his name again?
The bald guy with the lisp.
I don't even know his name, are getting divorced.
And I watched that OC episode, the latest OC episode today.
So it was kind of strange because he was loving towards her in that last episode, like going to surgery. She's openly said, like she openly hates him.
Totally. And has broken up with him before.
Yeah, of course.
Remember when she was like caught in Park City with another man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Sadly, I have a memory of that and not of most of the days of my life. But yes, I do remember that. I can't tell you what's happened recently. Michael Dodd. Thank you, April. April is sitting here because she knows I'm 100 and Grandma can't remember names.
Thank goodness April is here to keep us honest.
I know. But so her and Michael, and I will say that last week watching him sort of rub her breasts with the sculpting.
Why were they doing that? I only watched the latest episode.
He was trying to get...
He wanted to remember them, like a plaster of them?
I think it was more like what's
a
size.
death mask?
Yeah, like a death mask. Yes, exactly. Yes, it was. He wanted to make a death mask.
It was his Dillinger death mask of her tits.
Of her tits.
Which were very large.
Huge. I did think that they were beautiful. As heavy as that bosom seemed.
Yeah, she looked good.
I wanted to stick my head in them. Like I felt the need.
But nothing says I'm about to leave my husband like I'm going to get an operation and make him nurse me through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like we always see that where it's like they all start talking about vaginal rejuvenation and everything else. And you're like, oh boy, they're going to hop right off this lily pad.
In what lily pad? Yes. The Amy Hardwick
right off.
lily pad. It to me though, there was something tender and also I was a little bit, I found it erotic when he was putting the plaster of Paris
You
on
never
her.
cease to amaze me, I will say.
I did. I found myself.
Well, also they were outside in the open air.
I know. There was something
about tits in the open air on a balcony.
I found it.
Cold plaster.
Yeah, I found it erotic. I'm not
gonna lie. It all
spoke
to like your ghost fantasy.
I found it sensual.
Yeah. Like you wanted to like do pottery with him.
Yeah, I did. I found myself at first. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I was like,
He was trying everything.
I know. And look, as I said to Casey when the news broke today, and she texted me immediately. I said, who else is going to take these monsters? Like they're both monsters. You think so?
For her, yeah.
She is dysregulated. Like she can't.
Yeah, she's disturbed.
Yeah. So to see someone again, we can get into that when we go further into the episode. But that was a shock, and yet not a shock at all.
Also, if he's got as much dough as they claim to,
he invented
he'll
leapfrog
be fine too. Oh, he did.
I might
like
be
learning
this up.
stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I think he might be leapfrog, but April, let us know.
Or
I could be making this.
No one could care less about it. We couldn't care less about anyone than him.
Oh, but at the same time, I'd like to know.
Except Shannon, but we'll get to that.
We'll
later.
get to Shannon. You hate Shannon. I love Shannon.
I think she's the worst.
What?
But she's obviously become unhinged. Also.
Oh, she's unhinged.
She is to me a person that someone told was funny 20 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Where she's like, oh, Shannon's going to do one of her routines again. And you're like, you're so tone deaf to like every room. And obviously my assumption is that husband's cheating again. And
you think so?
Yeah.
Even with the cameras on him so much.
Even when they had that renewal, I was like, there was going to be an aftershock.
Well, you guys know what I say. Anytime someone renews vows, it's a death sentence. Yeah, it's a death sentence.
I agree. The clock starts ticking right from the I do's.
Now, let's talk the Atlanta trailer real
It was
quick.
riveting.
We just watched it together. I had watched it earlier and then we watched it together just to kind of really sink our teeth in. And guys, thank God for Atlanta. Because OC is
I had
a snooze
to put my
right now.
hands on you.
Yeah, you did. I heard
like
you gasp
3 times.
like 3 times.
I put my hands on you. I was watching for Mind You and I put my hand on your shoulder like to brace myself from what I was seeing. It was amazing.
I mean, these women, it doesn't matter who you cast. They delivered. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous.
Phaedra's gone, huh?
I'm nervous because Phaedra has been a bright light on that series. Like she helped with Nene gone. She really helped bridge the gap there.
True shit stirrer.
But hilarious.
Yeah.
And a liar. Like so much amazingness in
everything
one
we
person.
need. Yeah.
But I
gift to that franchise.
I was truly afraid that like Nene would come back, but it's like, all right, Nene's back or Kim's back, but wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems like, which is always what you hope for from Atlanta, because I think Atlanta is like, this is such a weird thing to say because all of these shows are so whatever, but like, it's like the id of all of the Housewives franchises. So basically it's like, it's the one that can't help itself. Well, so no matter how dressed up they get or how rich they get or how successful they get, something happens at some point in the episode where that somebody turns into a velociraptor. And they just like, and you're like, they're not going to hold back. They're never going to hold back. It doesn't matter how fancy they get.
No, well, the way that Atlanta is, and I think New York has a bit of this as well, which makes it, I think, great as well, is they can't not be themselves.
Yes.
Even when they're trying to put on something.
Mask,
yeah.
Yes.
And New York does, like people like Ramona do a great job of this too, which is like they're just themselves. And who they are is fascinating and bananas and hilarious.
It's also because it's one of the oldest franchises that in New York, because it's like the evolution of their fame. Like you sort of see like the beginning where they're like, oh, these fools don't even know that everyone's going to watch everything they do.
But OC, I think that was a bad thing because when you watch Vicky from the first season to now, I think Vicky is useless at this point. I think Vicky is gone next season. I think she supplies nothing and she has been there from the beginning.
Yes, I agree with that. Vicky has outstayed her welcome.
Because she also isn't willing to sort of change and grow and acknowledge mistakes.
It's also because she's a lot older than them, so she doesn't have the same problems as a lot of them.
Do you think that's what
I think the age gap thing is interesting because I think we're seeing that with Leanne on Dallas too.
Where Leanne is utterly watchable.
Yeah, she's amazing, but that's because she is like a desperate woman who is living in a house filled with hand-me-down furniture.
To look at Leanne, we'll get to it, but to look at Leanne's furniture is in stark contrast to like Stephanie's pool house.
It almost broke my entire heart.
It breaks.
And then I remembered her part, and I was like, "We're fine, you and I."
But Atlanta is a treat to behold. It's good to know that it's going to deliver. That Sheree never doesn't speak her mind. That
also those women don't mind hurting each other. They say the most hurtful things all the time.
But they also are funny. They're the funniest of all the women. So they get away with a lot more.
Yeah,
because
they're charming.
Truly, I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing with them.
Yeah, they are really charming. And they do always have a laugh even when they hate each other.
Yeah, I'm laughing at Sonia. I'm laughing at Luann. Like they're little like Tennessee Williams characters in my mind in some way. Tragic, but I'm also laughing at theyese buffoons.
Totally.
Atlanta, I'm laughing with them. Like they're in on the joke with me.
Yeah, they're a good time, those ladies. If you had to choose a dinner party to attend from any of the cities over all the years, would Atlanta be your one that you're like, if I have to have dinner with these people?
Hands down. Then New York, because they're also funny too. But
please don't tell me you think Bethany's funny.
No, I don't.
That drives me nuts.
No, she thinks she's funnier than any of us could ever think she is.
And a lot of women think she's funny.
She
and
gets
it makes me nuts.
I'm not saying she never says something funny. I'm just saying like she laughs too much for me. Like I don't get to.
And also all of her references are from like 1993. when she's always like, okay, yeah, like goodbye. All right, shut your door. Yeah, okay. You know, where you're like, okay, like a hole in the head, like you know, whatever. And you're like, all right, I guess.
But with Atlanta, I'm excited that they're calling Kenya out on this husband who she's married.
Oh, they couldn't. They are like piranhas.
But she's insane.
When something like this happens.
No one knows his name. I know that they're all not best friends during the off season or whatever.
Has he been unmasked now though? Hasn't he? I think he's been unmasked.
He's been unmasked, but
also I doubt
this is not a real marriage.
Yeah,
and the way that they call it, it's so desperate and sad for her. Kenya's another tragic figure.
I got very excited that it appears that Cynthia has a new love and that she was able to say to Peter, "I've met someone."
Yeah,
which because I think Peter is just. I think Peter is like a leech who has slowly preyed on Cynthia's insecurities
and drained her bank accounts with bar one.
Yeah.
Or that first, what was like restaurant one. Like
now he has like a sports bar in in Charlotte, North Carolina
but
or somewhere
he had that one in Atlanta that basically drained poor Cynthia.
When they first got together. Yeah. And that she was always like buying that whole routine of like, oh, we're in this together. And it just... She's insecure in that way that only a truly beautiful woman can be.
And that Sheree has gone from Bob to an inmate.
In federal prison. Could it be Bob?
No.
Do we think Bob has been...
incarcerated?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. But that was
Somebody said, I hope he doesn't take Chateau Sheree from her. And I was like, I hope you don't think Chateau Sheree is paid for.
Chateau Sheree.
I don't think the only person that'll be taking Chateau Sheree is the bank.
Chateau Sheree is literally a house of cards. Like it is built with. Totally. I mean, but I do think it is built better than Moore Manor. Like Moore Manor is still an unfinished basement. The whole house is an unfinished basement.
Oh yeah. For sure.
like
no question.
You lean on a wall, it's just paper.
No,
like your hand's going to go through.
Scrims. Yeah, where it's like, we decided to do this whole wall in curtains. There's no wall behind this wall.
I feel like you open up the fridge and it's not a fridge, it's just the outside of a fridge. And it's not cold inside.
This fridge isn't even plugged in. Yeah.
And there's just like a dirty futon on the floor. And it's just the saddest place.
Oh, Kenya.
And the longest driveway.
This is not a nice thing to say. You know how some women smell in a way that's like perfume that's been festering? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because they put on like a scented lotion, a scented perfume, their makeup smells, their hairspray smells. Like they have the deodorant, the white deodorant stuff under their armpits. Yes. And you get close to them and you're like, you just threw that dress on, didn't you? Like it's like all yesterday's flavors.
Oh, that's sad.
And I feel like Kenya often has that yesterday's flavors smell. Like a real Macy's perfume department. Like, oh yeah, I'll try that.
Speaking of Macy's, have you been into a Macy's
Absolutely
recently?
Not.
I have to walk through to get into my mall. I have to walk through a Macy's, and they have given up.
Oh yeah.
I seriously think someone could take a
Tommy
shit
Hilfiger
on the floor of a Macy's, and no one would know.
And they'll spray it with perfume.
Yeah, just like walk on by. No one will clean it. It is
a relic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. No one cares about Macy's, and it's sad because that was like the fancy place I went when I was a kid.
Good for Nordstrom.
Yeah, they've
really moved into that middle category.
But we're gonna take a little break, and then we'll come back and we will talk Dallas and OC.
I can't wait.
All right, we're back. So Dallas.
I'm going to try and use less words. I always use too many words.
What do you mean you use too many words?
Too many words.
That's insane.
I'm going to try and be demure. It always lasts for like 10 seconds.
You be you, Chaffin. You be you.
You be you.
Now,
Reebok.
The last few weeks, we haven't been on the air, and we have seen the girls go to Memphis, which we don't care about.
I actually skipped them. I had to make like a decision about.
No, you had to, and you skipped the right ones.
Memphis.
You skipped the right ones.
I have a lot to talk about with Brandy, though, in general.
Well, what are your thoughts on Brandy?
Well, so you're already 3 weeks in. Mm-hmm. So how many times have you have you discussed it at length? Dallas?
No, but we only had like a week or two of it, and then we took off. So like you can.
I'll let you guide wherever you want to go, and then don't worry, I'll get to.
Well, there was
Brandy.
a few things, like Mark and Carrie, and his jealousy over.
Oh, I have a lot to say about Mark.
Their child.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about
The fact that he is a petulant competition for her affection with a 3-year-old child is one of the more upsetting things I've ever seen in all of these series. And we've seen deaths.
Yeah.
And this is honestly so upsetting.
Mark is what we call in the Jewish religion a schmuck. And I think Mark might be Jewish. I'm not sure.
Is he? I
didn't get a chance to Google it.
Please no. There have
maybe
been.
Maybe April will. I don't know. I didn't get a chance. Again, like I wish maybe it's better not to know.
There's not enough Jews on the show, and so when one shows up, I really want him to be a good one. You want
better for them.
So I hope that he's.
I am super fascinated by the level of passive aggression in their dynamic together. And I wanted to ask you about this because I didn't watch Dallas last year. So
either did we.
Oh, you did.
We watched 1 or 2 episodes, hated it, and we're out. And then we gave it a chance, and we were like, "Ooh, it's good this year." So we stepped in.
Do we know anything about the story that Mark married when he met Carrie?
Mark was married to another woman, and Carrie, I believe, and
was
again,
his nurse.
Yeah, and then you
that all checks out.
If you see an old picture of Mark, if you can believe, he was actually more disgusting looking.
Oh no, this is all mixed. I can explain Mark's psychology to you in 10 seconds because this is all about all of those things you just mentioned. That Mark used to be fat, have a lot of hair. By the way, Mark looks about. Whatever choice he made to marry Carrie was the right choice because he looks about 1,000 times better than he did before. Yes. But he was
nerdy,
he was fat, lots of hair, huge goatee, nerdy, terrible clothes, all of that. And I think he is a narcissist from way back. I mean, he is a classic narcissist.
Yes.
We don't say... Well, it doesn't matter about the daughter. I was going to say, I have a few things to say about the daughter, but I won't because she's 3 years old or 4. But she's very sweet.
Yes.
Zuri.
And
not to be confused with Zuri.
There's all the Housewives' children's
all of their names on this season actually have gone to a level of comedy. Complete comedy.
Like I said, a dog's
Hilton
name.
and Cruz, as in Paris and Tom.
They're just, it's all tough.
But I think Mark... because Mark won Carrie, because Mark was married when he found Carrie.
Yes.
I don't know whether she was or she wasn't.
I don't believe she was, but again, I have not looked it up.
He has a deep-seated fear because he was someone that cheated. He fears that people will cheat on him. And he is confusing his wife's completely noble and endearing desire to be a mother to her child.
Yeah.
He has put that all in the jealousy basket, and he believes that she is pulling away from him and that she will, he's really pushing her away with his reaction.
Completely.
And she will leave.
Hear me out. Yes. They will not be together 5 years from now, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
No question.
And also, he treats Carrie like a child. Again, she's an asshole,
he
too.
also talks about how he's her boss.
Oh, and he loves being in charge. Like, when they had that fancy dinner party where he got mad that his child was invited to her dinner party, whatever, then he says, whatever Zuri doesn't eat, you're going to eat.
What?
Did you hear that?
No.
Yes. In not the last episode, but 2 episodes ago, he said to her, like, he was so pissed that Zuri was invited and that he was cooking Zuri, his child, this nice meal, that he was so pissed that he was like having to, cook for his child, that he said, whatever she doesn't eat, you're going to eat.
But that is also to do with him because he used to be fat. Because yoga is their big battleground. She keeps choosing to go and take care of her own body instead of taking care of him. And I think that is speaking to the fat, as I wrote, so fat boy is afraid she's going to leave him. Is what I wrote to myself as I was trying to find my notes. And I think that's part of what that's about too. And also he also works in a totally superficial business, and his wife is 100% should have been a guest star on The Love Boat. She is like,
look at this picture.
Astonishing.
Have you seen this?
Astonishing.
It's of Mark. Guys,
I also want to say right now, I don't really think Mark is gay. I think Mark's just like an East Coast guy that landed in Dallas, and they're trying to find something to say about it.
Yeah, I have that same feeling. I also...
I could be wrong, but that's what my gut tells me.
He also said to her, like, you're not going to want to work. Oh, you're going to be back here in 6...
Good luck with that.
That's
what he said.
Meaning our daughter.
Raising our daughter. When she said, I just don't want to look back and think...
Is he the worst?
I missed this time. And he goes, good luck with that.
That to me is worth divorcing.
Oh my gosh.
Like immediately. Like
she also, well, what about her? What did you think about her though? Like rolling her eyes during the interview that they did together for their little website.
Hates him.
I know. I have to say though, I also thought
disdain.
Like, yeah. Well, they have hit, what do they say? It's like you can't go back from resentment or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're in that place.
They've hit it hard.
But then she says that they have sex every single day, at least once.
Again, I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale right now.
I haven't gotten in there.
Again,
I read the book many years ago.
But that's what I think of. Like the fact that she has to fuck him like 2 times a day is the worst thing I've heard.
Who has the time?
But
what time does their child wake up? Are they having sex in the office?
Must be. But twice a day with that piece of shit. And she says it as if this is a deal I've made. Yeah. This is how I survive. Very transactional.
They all talk about it very transactionally. I have to fuck my
husband twice a day.
Yeah.
She gets off lucky if it's 5 times a week.
He's a disaster. But she could have been Tanya Roberts in another life. Like she is like a total 80s guest star on The Love Boat.
I know, but I think she would have been happier. I think she's miserable.
Don't worry. She got another act coming.
Yeah. She has cut her hair, which I have called for, and I thank her for that.
Did she have very long hair before?
She still does have, in like Instagram and stuff, I see that she has trimmed her hair because it's a longer hair.
I have questions about her color.
Hair color?
Yeah, because sometimes it's like she seems to be doing an ombre on the bottom. I sort of thought she was a redhead. I feel like she's just getting uneven service from whoever she's
Speaking about strange color, now Cameron. Cameron looks like, have I said this on the podcast before, April? She's kind of looks like a White Walker to me. That's from Game of Thrones. Can't remember what I've said like in my life and on the podcast.
An exceptional call.
Because she's tall and lanky and frightening and white and like a pasty color that is not found in the color palette of human beings.
While watching her, I had that thought of like, I mean, for sure, as a person who's like, oh, I always wish I was thinner or trying harder or this or that, and then just like not doing it or whatever mini version of my saga. But I was like, oh, that's totally unattractive. Like I saw how thin she was and I was just like, who would want that? Like she's like a praying mantis.
Yeah. She's. It doesn't look natural on her body. You know how like some people like.
Well, she's got no ass even. I mean, she is 6 feet tall.
I know, and maybe it's hard for her to gain weight. There are those people that are like, I can't gain weight.
Well, if you only eat pink dog food, you can't expect to keep weight on.
Carrie has cut her hair.
Yeah. I will say this about Cameron though. I really enjoyed the moment when what's her name invites everyone else to Memphis.
Brandy.
And when she like drops her routine for a second and she's like, hey, that's super rude.
Oh, she's been a boon to the show.
Like, like when she's not doing her like, I act stupid, did it. There are like 2 or 3 moments where she's like, hold on a second. And she kind of like genuinely reacts to what's happening in the moment. Yeah. And that made me enjoy her more.
She's one of the reasons we're watching again. Like she has stirred up something in these women that has gotten everybody, not only Leanne, we needed Cameron.
I love that every other thing out of everyone's mouth is that they're like, so-and-so is the creme de la creme of Dallas society.
Oh, they talk about it.
And then that person talks and they're like, my parents grew up in a drainage ditch. And I'm like, guys, Dallas society. Like in that way, they're just like New York, where you're like, guys, Dallas society goes back further than 1 generation. And your mother's wig business. Why has she not done a wig business?
I know.
And her supplements. Oh my God.
Is it a wig? I can't tell.
The sheen on that thing.
I love it. I love that woman.
What do you think about her and that relationship with the daughter? Yeah. Oh. And what do you think? Do you think Deandra is living a narrative in her head?
What do you mean by that?
Like, is Deandra living an actual life? Like, when she comes into the mother's office, is the mother just belittling her? Or is Deandra like playing office at the company and everybody's entertaining her?
I think it's a little more like the second.
That's part 1 of my question. Part 2, how do you feel about the fact that Deandra does to Leanne exactly what her mother does to her? Where she's like, Leanne is the person who she's like, okay, no, here's what you need to do. Well, and she gets heated.
Yeah, but I think it works for Leanne.
Sure, but it's an interesting manifestation of Deandra's
But Leanne
powerlessness.
looks up to Deandra. Leanne looks up to Deandra. Mm-hmm. And so she's like...
Well, she should. Where do you think all that furniture came from?
God, Leanne's house. Guys, it's so tough.
I didn't know she was a carnival person. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, she says it every other episode.
So how do you think she became a person?
I'm sure
is she divorced?
I think we found out first season. I do not again.
That's
someone
one of the
tell
things
us
I don't know.
I mean, we know her story that she was. No one wanted her. We've heard a bunch. No one wanted me, and my mother just gave me away, and I was just raised on a carnival. But so we have heard that a lot.
So prostitution.
I've heard the sob story. I don't know the interim. Like I don't know the between.
Like, can she afford a house? Is marrying a cop a step up for her?
The blind cop, isn't he like half blind or something?
I don't know. He
lost his eyesight. He did propose, which thank God.
But then she didn't tell anybody.
Why didn't she
She's
tell
finally
anybody?
telling people, but she did not tell anybody.
Why do we think she doesn't? Like Leanne to me would seem like the type of person that would tell everybody. She's always looking for a step up to normalize her, to show that somebody loves me.
He did do it at the county fair.
Well, that's what for her. He did that for her. She's a carnival person.
Yeah,
he wanted her to feel at home.
That's what he thought. And I think she was like, you could have taken me to the inn at Turtle Creek.
What's the inn at Turtle Creek?
That's like the, like there's a Four Seasons, I think it is, in Turtle Creek, where she's like, you could have taken me for one glass of champagne on my, like she's probably been proposed to it at a carnival about 50 times.
Oh yeah. That was definitely, she got laid at 14 at a carnival, like behind the Ferris wheel.
Tell that story?
Oh, I don't know. I just know.
14 feels late.
Really?
For Leanne.
Leanne was definitely like in a hay pile with some like sweaty guy drinking boons, like some sweaty
Sounds great
party.
now. Sounds great now.
Like rolled over and was like, oh
yeah,
shit,
it's rough.
We gotta clean. I came all over this big titty, and we gotta put it back on the rack.
I didn't think she needed her tits redone. They looked good to me.
I couldn't understand what the impression of her tits was, because people were saying that they were up and pointed upward. Some was saying that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Brandy was saying, that's amazing. If my tits did that, I would never touch them. That would be the talent you could win on. America's Got Talent is that you're basically like, a corpse that has a pair of tits that's up looking at the ceiling.
Well, shame on the editors of Bravo, and God bless them.
You can't make these people speak in words that make sense.
But the fact that like they had the two doctors doing the surgery.
Oh, that was incredible.
Like, right
True
next,
MD?
Yeah, and they had that guy.
With the level?
With the level, like that you would use like to hang a painting.
It was really, it also reminded me what terrible doctors Terry and Paul are.
Oh, they're the worst.
Like I was like, oh, I'll go to Dallas to get my tits lifted. I'm not going to Terry. And by the way, Paul does about 3 operations a year.
Really?
No, but Terry is always the one that's in the OR. And Paul is like, he does like only exclusively takes a piece of cartilage out of your rib and replaces it in your rhinoplasty.
If you go to Terry Dubrow's Yelp page, people are not happy.
I would believe it.
Yeah, people are upset.
He also has big meat paws for hands. It's like, I don't want that in my surgeon. Should we talk about Brandy for 10 seconds?
Yes, please. Let's talk about her.
Well, it's a little bit passé to even say anything about her because I feel like she's coming along now. Like she's sort of pulling out of it a little bit. And she was one of those people, because I binged it, that I was like, oh, this woman is on total pills. And the difference that she looks from last year to this year. I mean, like this woman's like not really with us.
You think so?
Oh, 1,000,000% in the beginning. And then the stories start coming out where she's like, I had a miscarriage. I had a bad mommy makeover, or I had a bad reaction to it. And then I had a miscarriage. And then because I was like, what is this fight? Why is this fight? Why is she keeping this going? And my opinion of that at the time was, this woman has a pill problem. She needs an external drama to be upset about, so that people are like, she is having a really hard time, just to excuse why she's so checked out. And now she seems like she's in it. And so my guess is that the painkillers she started on had something to do with that mommy makeover. That why would anybody have a mommy makeover when they thought about having a third child? But that's another story, because they literally sew your stomach back together.
Oh God.
So it's like, well, some people, their stomach muscles separate and they just won't go back together.
No, I know people that.
But you would not do that until you were sure you were done having, conceivably, I suppose she could have a C-section.
Well,
but
the way that she is,
they're going to stretch again.
And the way that her and Stephanie are, they talk about wine as if they're not that, as if I can't wait to get that wine. Like
Tequila
as if they're
shots.
like,
When was the last time you did a tequila shot?
or like just alcohol in general. They
just at a girl's dinner.
They talk about it in a way like that they're not allowed it and they're waiting, just wait until the sun starts to go down so they can have some alcohol. Like it is, I've never, like you can have wine whenever the fuck you want. We're an adult. No one can tell you, but the way that they crave it is shocking to me.
Well, it's just this self-medicating. And so Brandy, and then she would show up, at least in the first few episodes, she would show up and her hair looked like she had been in a tornado. Like she hadn't considered that they'd shoot her from the back.
Wow.
You know, so she'd pile all her hair to the side when it was like a 2-day-old blowout, but she kind of recurled it. Like she did what she could do on pills. and then they would show the back of her head. And because she's an ex-Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, she knows her way around a curling iron.
Yes.
And then they show the back of her head, and I was like, oh, that's like those Bravo editors again when they're like,
they know.
They show Dorinda like, fishing in her purse again. When you're like, what do you need that shot for? Going to the bathroom again, like,
if
or
anyone
whatever.
should win Emmys, it is the editors and the producers of these shows because they show us. It's that show.
The reaction shot from the iguana at the end of the most recent Mexico episode. I can't remember what one of them said and someone else said it. And then the show ended. The ending shot of the show was an iguana being like, what? Please.
Some of the best comedic editing. Again, Emmys, Oscars, Nobel Prizes, all
these people
around.
are geniuses.
They're
I
geniuses.
agree. Peabody's.
All of them.
All the awards.
Of them. Please.
What about the stepson and the eBay?
Oh, well, I've said on the show, I think
deeply
he is
upsetting.
A serial killer. I think he's a serial killer. He wants to be one.
I just had a terrible thought, which is there any chance he rapes Deandra?
Oh, God, Jesus. Jessica, I think
or
he's a
has
serial
sex
killer.
With her.
But not with his own stepmom.
Well, why is she always like telling him like, oh, this is another dress I got for $4? How much do you think this... the level of how tone deaf she is.
She's completely tone deaf.
Is amazing to me. And he despises her.
Oh, that's clear.
And then there was no mention of like, would he get a percentage if he could sell the clothes on eBay?
I think he's just working for her.
Yeah,
I know.
I was like, how about give him 10% of whatever he sells?
Yeah, that would be good sales.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I know she's in a...
Well, she's apparently terrible at business, as her mother cried saying, but here's my question about the business stuff. And again, what do I know? But why doesn't her mother give her a discretionary fund, let's call it $1 million or something like that, where she says, okay, you know what, you think you want to do a new premiere product, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you start another little subline inside of the company?
Because her mother is does not trust her daughter at all, and B, she doesn't want her daughter to succeed.
No, she doesn't.
She does not want her daughter to succeed. Yeah, she's going...
Season 3, she's going to sell that company to QVC or somebody.
And Deandra's going to lose her fucking mind.
Well,
as she should.
She's not, though. Deandra really the other problem is she's clearly under her mother's financial thumb. If she had her own money, I don't think she'd be showing up at the office pretending to work anymore.
Interesting.
14 years she's been waiting for a promotion.
Again, I've been trying to be an actress for 14 years.
No, but have you been walking into your mother's office for 14 years and being like,
if you substitute the word mother with casting director, then yes.
Well, when you put it that way, I guess
not
we
that
both
I haven't had success, but
No, but that feeling of
I've had a Deandra amount of success.
But when she's like, today's the day we're going to talk about my job, and her mother's like, sweetheart, you don't
have a job.
Also, when she comes in and she goes, is that new? Of course it is. Everything is.
She resents her too.
She loves having her a spendthrift for a daughter because it completely reinforces her whole like old Texas idea of like, if they told me I had to go live in the dirt again, I'd come out with a roast turkey.
And that whole Tennessee Williams sort of like mendacity. It's like, I had to, like raise this thing from the ground so you could just ride around in your beautiful dresses and your pretty boys.
She's only 76, her mother. It's not that old.
She's ageless to me. She could be 45. She could be 80. I can't tell you.
What about the sad when she had to make her breakfast and she was like, we better take out the china.
The good china. Oh. Now let's talk about Leanne because she gave a speech.
Total psycho.
She gave a speech that could be used for decades, centuries as like in a monologue book. Like it will go down, like when they unearth this and like they'll be like, this is high drama. This is the kind of, I couldn't write this. And I'm a writer.
It was true Tennessee Williams stuff, actually, when she goes, and I know the boys who did
I'm going to read it for the speech now.
It was actually like Truman Capote.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was lyrical.
Yeah.
It had some iambic pentameter. It was...
She feels like a failed actress to me, so the Carney thing makes sense. Like she's always performed.
Oh, she is. But this one, she didn't know the camera was on. And she thought she didn't realize the mic was on, which they all never do.
Yeah, which
but
is
she
awesome.
says...
She didn't even... By the way, please let's clear up for the viewer. She had not even had one pill yet.
Yeah. Oh, no, this was her...
they're acting like that happened when she was like pre-op,
No, she is
post-op.
straight... This is Leanne.
Straight up.
Being Leanne.
Yeah.
And she says about Carrie... She's gonna come for me one day, and it isn't gonna be pretty. Her husband gets his dick sucked at the roundup. I know the boys who did it. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up with a lot of things in my hands, and they're not knives. They're just hands, but they work quite well. I mean...
Do you know what it means?
I believe.
The hands. Everyone took it to mean strangling.
Yeah. They work quite well. I can hurt her with my hands. I don't have to do it with knives.
Things in my hand, with other things in my hands.
Again, I don't think she is quite clear on what she means herself, but I think it got to like, I will kill her with my hands.
The level of rage that she displayed in the car on the way there, when also I love Brandy's like kind of like she'd also clearly just had a pill before she picked her up to drive her to the doctor, when she's kind of like, yeah, I know, I don't like just the like non-answers that people get when they're like clearly have had traumatic childhoods and get around people that are rageful and crazy, and then they kind of just give non-answers to everything they say and just let the steam, like come off of them. But she was so angry in that car on the way to surgery.
Yeah, but sometimes Leanne will actually like admit when she said something, like when they were at that tea,
positivity.
What was it called? Honest tea.
I thought it was positivity.
I think it was honesty. Thank you, April.
Really? The honesty. Sorry, I was talking about the HIV positive lunch.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot
where she was a speaker.
Yes, that was called Essential Energy. Was that a different one?
Somehow positivity was in there because it was HIV positivity.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a lot of plays on words.
The honest tea.
Well, at the honest tea, someone was like, well, you talked bad about me behind her back. And she's like, in her still angriness, you're right. I did do that and I was wrong. Like she's just like, I think you're apologizing, though you're coming at me angry. You are admitting that what you did was wrong. And Leanne will actually admit it sometimes. What
about the ancillary members here, or the auxiliary members, I should say? Her therapist, Elizabeth.
Oh, she's got a big job and she needs to do
literally trying to figure out how to break up with her and not have her burn her house down. Like when she had the one with her where they talked about the Halloween costume.
Yes.
And she was like, what? Like she literally had a genuinely puzzled moment.
Could you not? Could you maybe not?
Yeah. Could you maybe not?
Leanne was looking at us like, I don't think so.
She was like, but it'll be so delicious. And she was like, and there was a look on her face, they cut away from her, where she was genuinely like, oh, like you could see the wheels spinning in her, where she was like, I'm not going to be able to help this person, but I can save my family.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. And then there's Stephanie's life coach.
Oh, the one with the Rinna hair? I'm obsessed with her.
Who showed up with a mop on her hair.
Well, she has Rinna hair, and you know how I feel about Rinna hair. I respect it.
But it was Rinna hair. I guess the second time we saw her was Rinna hair. The first time she showed up, and I was like, this woman doesn't own a brush, and she's telling people how to live their lives. I don't even know.
Well, it's always the life coaches that need the most help. I mean, I myself had a life coach once who was a mess and still sends me emails that I can't get off the mailing list.
Like a traffic school teacher.
Yeah, she constantly, I felt I needed someone, and I knew pretty early on, I was like, oh, this is a crazy person.
Like a professional codependent.
Yeah, like a professional kind of person who's like, this is what you need. I just wanted someone to say to me, this is what you need to do.
Yeah,
like, I'm a sucker.
You should have called me.
I know you would do that easy. You'll do that to me later. I should have.
I'm great at telling other people what they should do.
You have told me.
I'm terrible at figuring out what to do myself.
You have told me who to see, like hair and facialist wise. Like I trust you.
But I also could have told you, like, oh, don't do that show. Do this other show.
Okay. Well, it's not like I have a lot of choices.
Oh, I think you have a lot of choices.
Thank you,
I
Jess.
probably might have said to you, you have a lot of choices.
Oh, I like
Don't
that.
feel like you only have one choice. But then I would have been like, but don't listen to me. I'm still wearing athleisure wear at 2:30 in the afternoon and carrying 20 pounds around.
Last thing I want to say about Dallas, unless you have something more to say about Dallas.
There's that I can't wait to see where, oh God, only how grossed out I was by the signature cocktail in Playa del Carmen using blue curacao. Remember they had that gross drink.
I can't even
when they
remember
arrived,
that.
they just don't offer people blue drinks. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, now I'm remembering it. Okay. I mean,
let's not do that.
I felt bad for Leanne. It felt like Deandra was kind of like relegated to Leanne, like nobody wanted to room with her. And I feel for that person because we've all been that person.
Well, I wondered if Leanne would feel bad about it, but then I remembered that if there was anyone Leanne would pick over Brandy, it would be Deandra, because Deandra is the society goddess.
That is true. But I still feel like, because I know what everyone's saying behind Deandra's back end, I think on some level.
What's up with Deandra's body?
I didn't
Have
notice
you
anything.
been able to figure it out?
I didn't know that
she
there was
has
an issue.
a really big can, but she's kind of small everywhere else.
I didn't notice, sadly.
And so I'm trying to figure out how she even fits in those clothes. Like she just has a strange figure. She has a strange figure.
I haven't looked at that.
Yeah,
I mean,
she has a strange
believe
figure.
me, I'm looking at
there's just
everyone
something.
head to
It
toe.
may be like maybe it's lipo, or it's, you know what I mean, like that she's had lipo on top and on the bottom, on the sides, but not in the back, or like there's a fat transfer. I don't know. There's something going on there. And her hair's way too long.
Oh yeah, all of these women.
Yeah.
Once as June Diane has called for many times.
Yeah.
Like once you hit a certain age, like up with the hair. Carol Radziwill is doing it right. She understands that now you need to go up.
Radzie's got a great figure too.
And Radzi has a great sense of style. Again,
she
does
have good style.
But
I love that couch.
Well, it's been redone, thank God.
When?
Recently it was in all the trades.
Oh no!
Why? It was covered with cat hair and cat scratches.
But it was the couch that belonged to Lee Radziwill.
I know, it's still
and
the
it was
couch.
Scalamandre tiger fabric, which goes for about $30,000 a yard.
But it is. Well, then why let those fucking cats on it? That's
because
on her.
that's what you do when you're a rich old wasp. You're like, we have to sit on something. You know what I mean? And they that's such a waspy like cat scratched up. My mink. This is my mink coat that my dog ate.
My whole life, my mother was like, do not sit on that couch. Like there were rooms in our house where like nobody went in. Like it just was like, that was not a place I could go. I was allowed in my bedroom and the kitchen, and everything else was just off limits.
That is true aristocratic nonsense. Like
but
treat
I was
everything
an aristocrat.
no, I know, not what your mother did. The opposite, which is treat everything like a rag.
Yeah.
That's like get something expensive and treat it like a rag.
No, we would like get something at like nonsense. Rooms for less and treat it like it was fucking gold.
But also maybe it means she's finally moved on from Anthony's death. She had the couch redone.
I didn't think of it like that.
Well, she does have that weird. He must have terrible breath, don't you think?
Who?
That chef.
Oh, Adam.
Yeah.
Well,
Are they back together?
Up?
I think they're back together.
I don't know what the deal is with them.
He is like. Ugh, I can't even imagine the
cannot stand
tantric cinnamon flavored sex they have
It's
together.
not good sex. Yeah. There's no way that is
He's
good
like
sex
a melted candle.
Oh, he is. And even
made of beeswax.
And he's always like, like he's
always like, try this amazing
turmeric. Like try this turmeric shake. And you're like, no, that's disgusting.
I made this amazing almonds like almond sushi I want you to try.
It's always like as big as a rock.
With almond rice. And it's like,
it's just it's always like,
imagine having to pretend that shit tasted decent.
I know, he's like, always try this eggplant cake. And you're like, no, that's not a thing I ever want to try.
And she's always like, do you have any Skittles? Yeah, she wants to eat like a pack of Nerds all the time.
God bless, and she should. Yeah. But anyway, I feel like Dallas has some goods in store for us. Thank God. This year it came
even
to play.
Rollin, who refuses to watch all of these shows, he came home late last night, and I was watching, and I'm like, look, I don't want to hear it. I have to watch this for research.
And what did he
I have
say?
a very important job tomorrow. My only job this week is to go on Bitch Sesh, so I don't want to hear. Like he wanted to watch part 4 of Vietnam or something. And I was
stupid.
like, I don't even want to hear about it, and you're just gonna, and it was like so late anyway. He was about to pass out.
But was he riveted?
He kind of had one eye open, and he was like, I think I like these ladies.
Yeah, that's right, as we have
Which
said.
is how he always felt about Atlanta.
And sometimes
or
I'm
New
like-
Jersey. He goes, it's like the new New Jersey.
No, New Jersey.
And I was
know
like,
it's
it's
coming
not
back.
quite. It's not
coming
quite.
back next week, and I don't know. I just feel like
I don't know if I can do it.
I don't know.
Only if I'm tasked with an assignment by you.
Last year
will
we
I do
made
it.
you watch
Will
it
I
because
do
we
it?
refused to. All right, we're gonna take a break, a little commercial, and then we move on to OC.
Do 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 do.
We're back.
Oh, here we are.
OC. Now, look, OC has been tough this season. It hasn't been fun.
It's the whole Shannon
slog.
Bedore trying to get off her Peloton bike is an allegory for the whole season. Where you're like, you made me get back on this bike. My body doesn't want to do this. And now I am stuck
Can I
here.
say, she was terrified. She gets in a panic easily, and I was terrified for her. I was like, I could see Shannon cutting off her legs, like, what's that, 72 hours? What was that James Franco movie where the guy had to like cut off his arm?
23 hours.
Whatever that
Is
was.
that what it was? 123 hours, maybe.
I could see
23
Shannon
hours doesn't seem that
being
long.
like, it's been 20 minutes. I'm cutting my feet off to get off. Like, she panics that easy.
And it was more masterful editing where they're like, oh, they're going to push into her house. And you knew anyway. And they're going to make it seem like she's having sex. And it's like she's huffing and puffing on that
I knew.
bike.
I didn't even know that they were trying to
when
do
they were
that.
like, when she's like,
I knew.
And I was like, oh, this is awful. Because it went on for like 4 shots. They went exterior of the house. They went the downstairs hallway. They went up the stairs.
No one thinks that Shannon and David are having sex. That is not an illusion that anyone is under.
No, I guess I thought there was a chance that she was, of course she wasn't, but that she was masturbating. I just think that's what the editor was suggesting. And you were like, we already know this is cruel. You're going to show her working out. We know.
It didn't even occur to me. Like her
Huffing
to picture
and puffing.
Shannon with like masturbating, just like,
I can picture
my
it.
vagina doesn't want me.
I can picture it perfectly.
My vagina doesn't want me.
Where she's like, whoops. Yeah.
And it doesn't. It's rejecting me. It won't orgasm, and it's my fault. My vagina's mad at me, and my vagina's punishing me. I could see her blaming her vagina for not wanting to masturbate with her completely. I feel for Shannon. Her and David are done.
Yes,
it's over.
It's over.
And at some point...
Well, David tried to save his reputation, and he did that for a little while, and now it's over.
And she tried to forgive him.
Yes,
but she
tried to
really
forgive him, but I don't think he ever really... Actually, I think he wanted her forgiveness because he doesn't want to think he's a terrible guy, but he didn't want to continue that marriage.
And at some point, I do believe fight for your marriage, fight for your kids, if anything.
Especially if they have such a bright future as musicians.
as ladies of rock.
Yeah.
Lock.
Lock.
Ladies of rock.
I don't remember what they were called.
Lock. No, I definitely know.
Yeah.
Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher. Oh. It's such a good song.
It is catchy.
I love that song.
It's way better than a few of Luann's hits.
Oh, I disagree. But anyway, and she's back in the recording studio. Have you seen her Instagram lately?
No.
Look, she's taking Heartbreak and turning it into song just like Taylor Swift does and Barbra Streisand and many
Luann
before
is
her.
a survivor. She is nothing if not resilient.
She is resilient.
Yeah.
She's huge. How could she not bounce back?
Yeah. No, she's
10
going to
feet
be
tall.
just fine. She's going to be just fine.
But
It's her Native American side. She's an Apache warrior.
it's the nurse
inside.
from Connecticut.
The Iroquois warrior inside of her.
But I do believe they would be better off separate. Wait, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
I think if David leaves Shannon, she will fall apart. I hope she can build herself back up again. I don't know that
You want her to leave him? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think she ever will. I think he might leave her, and I think it will crush her, though I do think that they are better off separate. and that she has a chance at happiness again.
Yeah, though I don't know what David's financial situation is, because the last couple of years there's been a lot of expensive weddings and a lot of like hinky-dinky logic about why people had to move into rentals while they sold another house.
Yeah. No, I
like
hear
there's
you.
something fishy going on there where it's like, no, like it just makes a lot of sense for us to. And you're like, no. Like, I mean, you only have to ask Heather Dubrow what she thinks of that. I'm sure she'd have, if she tuned her real estate mind in, she'd have some choice words for us.
Well, you were the one who I think said that Dubrow. No, I think it actually might have been Shira that said, Shira Kasp-Weiss that said that house, that Heather's house is not paid for.
Oh, I don't know. They're house flippers basically to me. So I
Yeah.
don't know how that works exactly. I mean, I don't know what paid for means. Anyone that owns a $20 million house hasn't paid for their house. It's like they got the house and they're paying. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean that like there's like they can't even afford that. Like something like they're in debt. Like they're in over their heads on that house.
I would assume that to be true because of the amount of money they put into the house.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
an insane house.
Terry's completely a person who like is not honest with his wife about finances.
Oh, for sure.
But I think that I don't think it's wise to divorce David, and that's part of what's underneath all of this, because I don't think David can afford to get divorced.
But I think they should be divorced. though.
Totally. But instead they're just going to suffer right now.
But I think David would actually be fine, like maybe not financially, but mentally, I think he'd actually be happier if he were with somebody else.
Totally.
And Shannon, if she could let herself realize that there is a life after David and that she's going to be okay.
Yeah, but she'd need to know that she
Yeah, I
had.
don't
I mean,
know
she
that
doesn't
she'll
have
ever
like
know
an
that.
income, so she'd need to know that David was giving her $5 million, $10 million,
Watching-
whatever.
I think it'll be-
and I don't think that money is there, so they have to stay locked in this kind of terrible
I think
roommate situation.
watching her disengage from David would be harder than watching her disengage from a spin bike. Like, I feel like that's what it's like, I'm stuck. Like that's
But
a
on
metaphor
the other
for
hand, in
her and
fairness to
David.
her, she has already gone through this pain with David, like when he had the affair and all of that stuff.
But it's still, she went through the pain, but she didn't have the separation. Seeing him move on with his life and like marry another woman or something
that's
like
true.
that.
That's true. That'll be hard.
Like I think that would destroy, because he will marry again.
It's opening up a scar a little bit. I think she's done some of the mourning for the marriage, but also she seems pretty delusional. She could have believed in the whole vows thing.
I think she believed, for sure.
That's rough.
It's rough. And it's also rough, like seeing Kelly, like we were saying, seeing Kelly and Michael being so sweet together in this last episode, and then knowing that they're divorcing. Though again, that is a couple that are both monsters. They will find other people, but like they're both terrible.
She'll
humans.
find some other schmuck that'll put up with her nonsense.
Yeah, you think? Not for any long period of time, though, you think?
Yeah, I think that there are just people that are, you know, there's all kinds of dysfunctional people in this world and that are attracted to that kind of crazy. And I bet she's great for about 6 months.
Less.
Or three,
Less. 6
3
days.
months. I bet she's
days.
good for 3 months. I bet she like shows up at your office in a trench coat and
Yes.
like all that shit.
Yes.
And then you're just trying to get back there. And
You'll never
in
get back
fact, I
there.
think her marriage is still that, you know, where he's kind of like, ooh, let's do a plaster cast of your boobs. And she's like, you literally are a eunuch to me. Like you don't exist.
That's so sad.
Like you are not a viable
actually
sexual
don't-
being. And he's like, how about another piece of jewelry? How about another? And she's just hates him the harder he tries.
She says he's so mean to her, but we've never seen it. Whereas
Well,
like David,
she's a victim though. Everything she does, she immediately goes 0 to 60 in her temper whenever she feels she's being attacked. And attacked in her parlance is anyone that's like, that doesn't add up about what you're saying. Like I thought it was hysterical, that weird dinner with God knows why anyone needs Peggy, but that weird
Peggy.
dinner with
I forget
Peggy.
about Peggy all
You should
the
continue to
time.
forget about Peggy. We
I
should
can't-
all continue to
Why
forget
was
about
she
Peggy.
cast?
And
I don't
Deco.
Ugh. Well, Deco's honestly more interesting than
Yes,
Peggy.
he is.
I'd
What
like
is he?
to follow
Is he a
Deco.
car salesman? I don't know what he does. They talk
Unclear.
about fast cars.
Yeah, like he does. Like, but did he collaborate on a Lamborghini? I don't know.
And I want these people to quickly move away from this conversation again about whether someone has cancer and whether they don't have cancer. Because I cannot. I can't
The
do
minute
that.
it came up again, I was like, guys.
And also, like, how fucking stupid are you that you don't understand that, like, when they're like, Megan's like, yes or no. And you're like,
Well, it's
I went to one doctor and they said this and they found some abnormal cells. So I went to see another doctor and then they found this.
And my mother had cancer at this age and I think passed away from it.
Yeah. And
so
I don't have the BRCA gene, but I did end up having a tumor. Which they didn't find at the first appointment. It's like everything happened. Like, did they test you for cancer? Like as though that's how you find cancer. It's like you pee in a cup and you know whether you have cancer.
The minute they started to talk about it in any sort of doubtful way, I was like, me too. I'm just like,
and also I was like, you have tested my patience, ladies. We can't do this again.
And also like, don't bring Vicky into breasts removed. Something was wrong. Say good job, good idea, and move the fuck on. Like, do not go down this road. It might have been good ratings the last time because that person was a charlatan. He was like an old Southern peddler of like
he was
rainmaker.
He was great.
Like
I miss Brooks.
And as we've said many times, like, we all believe
we need Brooks.
Brooks can fuck. Yeah. Like Vicky misses that guy because Steve Lodge is not doing it in bed for her.
No. Steve's just a nice guy.
Oh, and lovely, but they get into
She may as well have gone back to Dawn.
Oh, honestly, I think Dawn would be better. Yeah. Dawn has more sexual attraction, had like a better sexual chemistry with Vicky.
Yeah, Dawn, at least Dawn was angry.
Yeah. Like Steve's just like, well, here's my gun. Like I've never seen someone hold a gun that seemed so unlikely to be holding a gun. Like I was
except for Mark at the firing range. And there was like, oh God.
Oh my God.
What do we think? Sorry to jump around, but what do we think Deandra's husband's job is when she says he goes to work?
Photographer.
Well, he says, he's like, I got to go to work now. And then all of his quote unquote photojournalism that we saw in the house.
I believe he like teaches like a community college course now about photojournalism is what I'm getting, but I'm fine with that. No, you are upset. You had to take off your glasses.
I had to just try my glasses on that one. Oh man.
I mean,
God, he really wants it to work, huh?
What do you mean with her, with Deandra?
Yeah, she's got all that dough and they're all waiting for that old bag to die. It's just not going to happen. I don't know if he can outlast her.
No, that won't outlast
She's going to die at 103.
She's going to look death in the face and be like, not today, honey. 103. And death's going to be like, all right, I'll come get you later.
What about the TV VCR in her office?
I appreciate that. Yeah. Like nobody's
She was
business.
like, well, who cares? It's there because I want it there.
Because she's like, that's the last technology I learned and that's all I'm going to learn.
Yeah.
And God bless. It's not like she's watching anything, you know.
She is so nasty to her daughter, though.
She's busy reading like Judith Grant's novels.
Judith Grant.
like Danielle Steele
Every
novels.
year I do a fundraiser in San Francisco and Danielle Steele is the guest of honor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she's
100%.
like, I'm very good friends with Danielle Steele.
Vibrant outfits.
I read my Reader's Digest and I'm fine with it all. Yeah. And sometimes
I'll watch 60 minutes just to keep my mind open.
And every once I'll have, my maid Louisa tape me my days of my lives. She'll do it on the VCR because we still don't have that hooked up, and I'll watch my stories.
Oh, she's great.
And I'll watch all my children. I'll watch my General Hospital.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else worth talking about from OC.
Lydia. I hate Lydia.
I really need Lydia to stop talking about her husband. Also, it's like, you fucking fools. No one knows what a vasectomy is.
They're not cutting off his balls.
It has nothing to do with his balls.
It's making me crazy.
It makes me... And why is he so stupid that he's allowing it?
They're the...
But he always feels so sad for her. Like, were your feelings hurt? And then she says to her... She says, by the way, I had a revelation today, which could be wrong. Mm-hmm. I always thought Lydia had the most beautiful eyes, which she does. Mm-hmm. Do you think she wears colored contacts?
Whoa.
Because she was wearing that green hat and her eyes looked very green. And then now I want you also to know, I'm saying this as a person who has blue-green eyes. Mm-hmm. So if I wear green, my eyes look really green. Mm-hmm. If I wear something blue, I believe I myself to have green eyes. But people are like, your eyes are so blue. That's how they experience them. And so
how am I experiencing your eyes right now?
I'm wearing green glasses right now, so they're probably green. But we'd need more lighting.
Okay.
But so I was like, And then when I saw her today, I was like, is this bitch wearing contacts?
Wow. I didn't even think of it.
Well, we know Stephanie's wearing contacts, Paris Hilton style. You know that, right?
Well, Stephanie is nothing on Stephanie is real.
Do you know what the worst thing about Stephanie is? The poor thing.
I can't remember if I thought it.
Her base color.
Did you see on Dallas
She
when they
has
had them
the wrong
all
base
in that
color.
cell phone light? It was shocking because you see how well
bumps.
that Bravo
Yeah.
is lighting them
Yeah.
to make them look somewhat human being. When you see them on the plane in that cell phone lighting, it is disturbing. They look like monsters. All of them.
Stephanie's base when it grows, because she's doing highlights probably every other time or whatever. And when her base grows out, or when she's having a time when she's just having her base and not having her highlights, it is a muddy, ashy blonde. It is not, she's not getting the right base on there. Wow. And
wow.
it is.
And Jess, you know, because you know these things.
I just care
You
about
pride
these things.
as you should.
Far too
but
much.
back to Lydia. She's the fucking worst. She will go down. And again, we have had like monsters on the show, like terrible humans. And I still think Lydia is worse.
Why do you think, yes?
She is holier than thou. I think she took someone like Shannon and dismissed her. And when people are just dismissive, I'm fine when people are like, come on, bring it. Let's just fucking go. I'll say some shit. You say some shit. Like, let's just get it all out there. Even if it's just terrible stuff about their families, like at least it's out there.
She dismissed her in a like, you're an old lady who's not in the fight.
Yes. And also like, I'm like, almost like, all right, old lady, sit down.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I found that cruel in a way that is unwatchable to me. I'd rather them talk terrible about each other's children and husbands and wives in those places you don't go.
It's chilling.
Than be dismissive.
Yeah. She was like, you don't even deserve to have a fight with me.
And it made me sick. And I was like, you coming after Shannon?
Yeah.
You're gone, honey. Shannon is everything we're watching on this show. She is interesting. She's heartbreaking, but she's interesting.
She's interesting, but I agree with everything else.
Because Lydia, do you think Lydia's interesting?
No.
She is.
Lydia, to me, I was astonished that she was back.
Who wants her back? Who called for her to be back?
With her, those teeth make me crazy.
And I don't care, and I know I've said this on the podcast before, I don't care if Vicky and Tamara get back together. It's not a plot point anymore.
Tamara is on another planet.
Yeah.
Tamara is a ghost. Basically, the ghost of Tamara is on the show right now.
And Vicky is ridiculous, and we've done this drama before. We don't care. Vicky should be gone, and so should Tamara.
And
they're both done.
I agree, and it's too many years of this nonsense.
Yeah, it's too many years of this nonsense.
I haven't even found myself wondering what Eddie's up to.
No. I know he's sitting there at Cut Fitness hoping somebody walks in the door. He hears a knock, but it's just the wind, and he's like, "Hello, is anybody there?" But it's just the wind. It's nobody.
It's just the wind.
Oh, it's so sad, and I hope good things for I
it's
want
the wind
Cut to
whistling
succeed,
between his ears.
Yeah,
of his empty brain.
I do believe Eddie loves Tamara and Tamara loves Eddie, and that is something they do have going for each other. I believe that in my heart.
Yeah, as much as they can love anything.
And I also, Vicky's sick with the flu. Of course she is. When is Vicky?
That was another amazing thing. Like, influenza B. Like, that's a thing.
They're
and it's like,
searching
ladies,
for
please,
something.
all I'm asking is that you know what you don't know.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
But then we don't have
I'm not
this-
asking you to know.
But
I'm just asking you to know what you don't know.
But Jess, these women know nothing.
Yeah.
And that is really what it
is
comes down
astonishing.
to. The stupidity on OC and Dallas. These might be the dumbest human beings. And that's okay. But it is what it is.
I also think you see on Dallas, you see that thing happening where like all these men, by the way, has anyone talked about how Travis and Adam Devine are the same person?
Oh, wow.
Stephanie's husband and Adam Devine.
Oh, what about, you know who?
We haven't even talked about the pool.
I mean.
What about the view of two skyscrapers from a $6 million house?
That's a really strange
And that they're like,
view.
everyone's like, the view. And I'm like, of an apartment building?
Well, it's weird that
two
skyscrapers
towers
right there.
It's like the Los Feliz towers. Drives me crazy that they ever let them build them.
It's so strange to me. And also, a listener tweeted that was hilarious. Tweeted out that the White Walker's husband looks like on Game of Thrones that little girl queen that's like, I'm with you.
Yeah, for
it looks
sure.
Guys, look it up.
Yes, she's something Bolton, not a Bolton, but a like Par Bolton or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He looks like that little
She's terrific.
girl.
Yeah,
it's insane.
They do look exactly alike.
Someone tweeted at me, and I was like, "Thank you for this because this is a
great
gift,
call.
and it's." Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. So look it up.
I just think all those men wanted to marry young, beautiful women, and they did. And Carrie, to me, is different because Carrie's a nurse, and also Carrie and Mark have a very different dynamic than everybody else.
We have a lot of ex-nurses on these shows, like Luann, again, the nurse from Connecticut. And I feel like there was one more. That seems to be a starting out profession.
Yeah, it's like doctors meet nurses and pilots meet stewardesses, you know.
Yeah, it is.
But I think that you're seeing now all of the wheels come off of like all of these people who are like, we have nothing to talk about. Like I feel
once they have their kids.
Yeah. Now that and also that they've just been together for 15 years or however long. And I think I see Cameron with her husband and I'm just like, or 10 years, however long. She said they've been married together for 8 or married or something like that. And I think to myself, I bet you, I don't know what that guy does, whether he's like a venture capitalist or money guy or whatever. But I'm like, I bet you he's having an affair with like a junior lawyer.
Oh, so.
You know what I mean? Like somebody he just can talk to.
You think
like
so?
Who's
but
also
he's
like
an
hot
asshole
and
too.
stuff.
Like I'll give you like just that she has to go to him for money again. Like I hate.
But also she said her father had a dog food business, so why doesn't she go to him?
Yeah. I just don't like a woman having to
you
go
love these
to a
fake
man
meetings.
for...
It was like Ladies of London. That was actually one of the greatest episodes of Ladies of London when Caroline Stanbury goes out to dinner with Jem, her Turkish Azerbaijan Jewish husband.
Yeah.
And he tells her it's time to close the gift library. But where he did the thing where he was like, okay, I'm going to give you $2 million to start a business. Mm-hmm. You can try and make it work. And the minute we cross over that dollar amount, it's closing. And it was like when he took her to dinner and they were talking about the gift library.
And he watched the first few seasons of Ladies of London. I came in late.
They go out and they took dinner and they talk about the gift library. And he just says to her, you're done.
Oh God,
and
it's
she's
so
like,
cruel.
And she knows. And it's like she had been kind of backpedaling for the few months leading up to it and complaining about how the business was closing.
I just don't
and he's just a businessman. And he's like, we hit our number. And it's over.
But
now.
I just don't like, again, should she have gone in with, I don't know, perhaps a PowerPoint? Of course.
At the Mexican restaurant where they wanted their daughter to order? Her Spanish was terrific, by the way.
Of course it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
honestly,
impressed.
I have nothing to say because I couldn't have done
love that makes my daughter feel powerful.
Well, she's moving her mouth.
Another language.
Cameron moves her mouth so much during one word. She'll be like, anyway, like
I
she
love
has
it. She
to
feels
open
powerful,
so wide, and everything takes so long to say.
Oh, pay attention to me.
I'm shocked by how much exercise her whole lower face gets when saying just like hi.
I also want to say I didn't know that. Of course, I didn't know, but of course that they have raincoats for Birkin bags.
What?
I didn't know.
Well, look, you
heard
thank
it
God
here
for
first,
these women.
people.
Raincoat.
You heard it from
I mean,
me
isn't it just a
first.
slicker you buy like on the street?
No, it's like this equivalent of if you got a shower cap from a hotel and punched a hole in it for the handle. Which, by the way, I encourage people to do if they're looking for something to do with the extra shower caps.
What? I've never heard of
Keep it in your purse. She had in her purse a piece of plastic.
Okay.
That was the same size as her bag.
Okay.
Like a dust cover.
Yeah, no.
So
I
she
saw
took
that.
it out, but it was made, and then she could stick her handles through, which I was very upset by because I was like, now her handles are going to get wet.
Well, at least you're prioritizing.
But also I was like, that's a pretty good invention.
Wow, guys.
Even I learned something this week.
It's so good to be back.
Thank you so much for having me on this lovely
Nook this week.
program.
We're actually at my house this week, and this is kind of a nice vibe too.
It's been delightful.
And I have to say, for the past few weeks, I've just been sort of like staring in the mirror and talking to myself about the housewives. Like literally just being like, God, is Shannon going to be okay? So it's nice to be
she is not.
back with our people. Oh, of course not. But I want her to be okay.
But let her not be okay on camera, because at least we know she's getting a paycheck, and and that Bravo is got her on suicide watch.
Yeah, and then also that
because there will be a suicide attempt when David leaves her, but it'll be one of those attempts where you're like, wait, they'll be like, Shannon had scissors at her bedside, and then they call the police, and you're like, which? And then you're like, oh, nothing happened. Like it'll be like one of those, like she would never, she drove her car to a wall, but it was the wall of her own garage. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh,
that's something I would do just on accident.
No danger.
But it has been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for
Jessica
having
Chaffin.
me. It was
We've
a delight
missed you.
to be back in the Nook.
And again,
the Nouveau Nook.
Nouveau Nook.
Yes.
Right. This is the Nouveau Nook.
Yeah.
Thank
the
you.
Nook Annex.
Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, April. Again, Casey will be back on our Halloween show.
So excited.
Which we're very excited. And that's our live Largo show. Get tickets. That'll be Wednesday the 25th. And also come dressed, Wednesday the 25th of October, come dressed up as your favorite Bravo character.
Wasn't Two-Faced an actual cartoon character? Not cartoon.
I think in Batman,
comic
but like
book
a
character.
man,
Yeah,
but like a man.
But it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come as your favorite character. Last year's show was so much fun. It was the best times, and we'll have a very special guest that night as well. And then next week we have a really good guest too, guys. We have all good things planned.
They told me who it was, and I got excited.
I know, it's a good one. But thank you, because you're another good guest.
Thanks for having me. Excited. Anytime, I'll come anytime.
And we love and miss you, Casey. And
now I'm going to start watching again.
Good. I'm glad we can inspire you.
Yes, Casey, don't get a mommy makeover.
Don't.
Yet. That's our advice to you. That's what we've learned.
Don't get your vaginoplasty. I mean, we all got to get it. Ladies, if you're finished having kids, definitely get a vaginoplasty.
You don't want a gobbler.
As someone told me, it's called a daddy stitch.
Oh,
isn't that the most disgusting thing you've ever? I got one, but still, it's disgusting.
That is foul.
No. But guys, thanks for being back. I've missed you guys, and I'm glad to be back and talking to you guys again. And thank you for all the awesome tweets you've been sending just through this hiatus, and because I feel like at least we're still kind of having a conversation even when we've been off the air.
The dialogue is still happening.
The dialogue is still happening, guys.
Can I promote one little thing?
And I'd like to plug one more thing too.
I just remembered I'm on a new podcast called The Kibitz that I'm co-hosting with Dan Crane, who is a fabulous, charismatic and talented journalist and a Jew. And so I'm going to be his co-host this year, and it comes out on October 17th.
And where can people find that?
I think you can get it on iTunes or anywhere podcasts are not sold. And
anywhere podcasts are free.
I think there's a little preview out now.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
I will listen to that. I like
a different sort of thing.
Hear you talk.
A little more journalistic. So Dan did all of that stuff. All I did was slide in and pretend.
And I'd like to plug something that I'm a part of. My husband, Matt Besser, wrote a punk rock musical. With his musician friend Bobby Matthews, and I'm in it.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of other really great people in it as well. And it's on Stitcher Premium. You can find it there. It's awesome. It is a musical, but it is funny. It's interesting. It's great. The songs are awesome. I've listened to it a million times, and it's so good. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on it and because Matt is my husband.
No, but you're a true musical theater fan.
Yeah, I am. So I'm not fucking around. It also stars Scott Aukerman, Paul Rust, James Adomian, John Gemberling, Virginia Matthews, Mike Cassidy, Mike Still, so many others.
What a cast. What's it called?
It's called Stolen Idea, and you can find it on Stitcher Premium. So everybody check that out.
Awesome.
But again, thank you. Thank you, April. Thank you, Luz. Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, Earwolf. We'll see you next week.
And thank you to all of these ladies for sharing their lives with us.
Hey everyone, Scott Aukerman here. I hate to interrupt you listening to Danielle and Casey, but if you love Bitch Sesh like I love it, I love hearing them. They're my good friends. I bet that you will love a little show that I host on Earwolf called Comedy Bang Bang. Comedy Bang Bang is the show, there's no better way to describe it than as the show where I talk to interesting people. Doesn't that sound great? Some of those interesting people just this year that we've had on include Tig Notaro, Andy Samberg, Kumail Nanjiani, John Hamm, Rachel Bloom, so many more. And we have some amazing guests coming this fall that I can't even mention yet. And then stick around after my first interview because you never know what other entertaining people or interesting people just might show up. There has never been a better time to start listening to Comedy Bang Bang. Check it out on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.